Hi there, welcome to this week's instalment of Technoledge, the best place for the latest gadget rumours and information. Today I'll be comparing the original iPad with the second generation iPad 2. I'll also be joining in the debate of what's better, BlackBerry, Apple or Android operating system. Apple recently internationally launched their iPad 2 after selling out in America on its release date. There was speculation that the launch wasn't planned well enough because the stock was extremely limited and the production of them was rushed. People are saying the iPad 2 looks a lot better and is also thinner than its predecessor. But is it worth paying extra money for when you can pick up a refurbished first generation iPad for just £289? Well, I compared both models to find out. Hello and welcome to Technology's comparison of the iPad and the iPad 2. Now, the main difference between the iPad and the iPad 2 is the look. The original iPad is a lot fatter, as you can probably see there, compared to the thinness of the iPad 2 there, and obviously the screen frame is a lot different. You've got the camera at the top, and obviously it comes in white as well as black, whereas the original just comes in the standard black colour. Now, see, here's some technical stuff. The original iPad has a 1GB Apple A4 system chip, whereas the iPad 2 has an A5, which increases the speed by up to 8 times during gameplay. Memory on the iPad 1 is a 256MB DDR RAM built into it, and the iPad 2 has a 512 DDR2 built in. Now both come with a variety of different spec. So you can get the Wi-Fi only, you can get the Wi-Fi and 3G, and you can get a 16, 32 or 64 gig. The iPad 1 has the accelerometer built in and an ambient light sensor for gameplay. You can tilt it and it will be touch reactive as well as tilting it, and it will rotate to whatever angle. The iPad 2 also has this, as well as a gyroscope built in, so it's more sensitive to tilting and stuff like that. The iPad 1 is a lot heavier. It's at 680 grams as opposed to the iPad 2, which is 600. It doesn't sound like much, but it does. You can really feel it. In terms of performance generally, the iPad 2 is a lot quicker. If we just load up Google on both browsers, both were connected to the same Wi-Fi, so it shouldn't take too long. As you can see, that one's done there, and that's still taking a bit longer. And let's just prove that with the App Store as well. So we just load that up. That's done already. And there you go. Another change is just the overall display. People say the iPad 2's display looks a lot brighter, more vivid than the original iPad. It looks sharper. I mean, the biggest thing about the iPad 2 has got to be the fact that it has a camera on the front there, which is a VGA camera for FaceTime, and a HD 720p camera on the back, just for video recording. This can be used, I mean, the iPad 2 has iMovie and GarageBand available, so you can edit films. You can film the films on the iPad and edit them and add a soundtrack to them and export them all just on the iPad with no need for a computer. I mean, this is just a basic overview of the iPad and the iPad 2. I hope you enjoyed it, and well, I hope you make your mind up with what one you probably prefer. Well, I hope that's helped you make your mind up about what one's better for you. Don't forget, you've got other competitors in the tablet industry with Samsung's Galaxy Tab, the BlackBerry Playbook, and many more to be released in the coming months. Now, on to the next matter at hand. There's always debate between iPhone, BlackBerry and Android users about what smartphone's best. BlackBerry's obviously boasts BlackBerry Pin, which is extremely popular with the recent surge in BlackBerry models and their cheap contracts. But with rumours suggesting that research in motion is creating a BlackBerry Pin application for iPhone and Android, will this make the BlackBerry a one-trick pony? Where the iPhone and Android phones have better applications, it may be so. I'm going to put the smartphones to the test to see the pros and cons to each. This is the Android, BlackBerry and iPhone comparison. Here we have the Samsung Galaxy S2, BlackBerry Bold 9700 and the iPhone 3GS. It's just a quick overview of all three. Its features. Samsung Galaxy S is a fairly new one, and as you can see, the notification system at the top is So Facebook comes up with your messages. It's got all your options to turn Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, GPS, sound, and the auto rotation. It's very simple to use. Very smooth phone to use. The BlackBerry obviously has a BlackBerry Messenger, and you've got the LED light, which some Androids don't have, to notify you when you have messages. So you've got Facebook notifications there. And the iPhone doesn't have the LED system, but it is an overall nicer looking system, as you can see. It's got the multitasking bar at the bottom to easily switch between open apps and to save their states once you leave them, so you can come back to them just as they were before. Got this simple slide to the left to listen to music. GPS wise, the maps on the iPhone is usually quite accurate. As you can see, it finds you within about 10 seconds and then pinpoints your accuracy. On the Galaxy, something similar happens. Go to maps, and as you can see, it's found me there. As the longer I leave it on, the more accurate it gets. But on the BlackBerry, it doesn't have a GPS feature. It has a maps feature, but it will not find you. That's just something to look out for. Overall, I mean, the looks of the phones are totally different. You have the QWERTY keyboard on the BlackBerry, whereas the other two are touch screen. I mean, there are a lot of similarities between the Galaxy and the iPhone. Obviously, you've got the button there, and you've got the button there. Speakers in a similar place, and the camera on the back. The iPhone 3GS doesn't have a camera on the front, but the iPhone 4 does. Speeds on the iPhone and the Galaxy are very similar, whereas BlackBerries can and are known to be quite slow, especially when using the internet. That's what the iPhone and Android are for, because they are mostly 3G enabled. It's just a basic overview. I hope you enjoyed it.
As you can see, they've all got their pros and cons, so it's up to you to make the decision. There's been reports that the Nintendo 3DS is showing a black screen of death, displaying an error message which tells you to restart the console, and if the problem persists, to contact your local customer support centre. This obviously caused problems for Nintendo, that have released a patch for the software that should hopefully solve the problem. So if you see this error message, make sure you've updated your software. It has also been announced that Autoglass have made a self-repairing mobile phone screen, which repairs itself almost instantly when cracked. There are videos on YouTube of it in action. Their job now is to implement it into phones, tablets, and even windscreens. Now let's move on to the latest rumours on Twitter about the upcoming gadgets. This week's rumours are mainly Apple-based. After the iPad 2 release, all the rumours now focus on the iPhone 5. There's been leaked images of the potential casing of it, hinting towards a silver and white case on the launch date. There's also rumours about iOS 5 floating around on the internet. When is it coming? Sources are saying that it may be previewed in May, but might not be released for general download until autumn 2011. And it may even come with a new cloud-based service, as Apple aren't selling mobile Me accounts anymore. There's also news from HTC that they're going to be releasing a 3D phone by the end of 2011 to counter LG's 3D phone, which is also due out at some point this year. But with headaches and eye strain complaints from some users of the Nintendo 3DS, is this a good idea on HTC's part? What do you think, or have you heard any rumours that you think we should report on? If so, tweet me at LewisPainter.